Okay. Rain Man sends his regards, and those regards I accept. Welcome to Wonder After Dark. Once again, Trip slash Dragon slash Sylvie slash whatever could not be here tonight. Again, no reason given, but could not be here for tonight. So once again, it's another one-on-one episode. Anyway. Yeah. Kinda. Okay. Now you have to elaborate upon kind of. I mean, you never know. He might show up. No. Okay. I mean, you never know. Might show up like, I don't wanna. Fair enough. Okay, I mean, might show up like 10 minutes in. I don't know. Might show up, might not. Really just depends. Anyway, but we're going to carry on with the show anyway. Oh, and here's the quickest that I've ever gotten to the subject matter. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory film. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is a 2005 musical fantasy film directed by Tim Burton and written by John August. What about Jude September? Based on the 1964 British novel of the same name by Roald Dahl. The film stars Charlie in the Poop Factory, the chocolate river from the 1971 movie that actually looks like stinky doo-doo. Anyway, the film stars Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka and Freddie Highmore, aka Dr. Autism, as Charlie Bucket, alongside David Kelly, Helena Bonham Carter, Noah Taylor, Missy Pyle, James Fox, Deep Roy, and Christopher Lee. Johnny Depp is the GOAT. Oh yeah, he is. That's not me being sarcastic. Johnny Depp really is the GOAT. That is the world record for quickest I have ever burped on this show. Usually I don't end up burping until like 10 minutes in. And that was a perfectly placed burp, too. Anyway, the storyline follows Charlie as he wins a contest along with 4 other children and is led by Wonka on a tour of his chocolate factory. But you already knew that. The film had a lot of release dates. It premiered at Gourmand's Chinese Theater. I probably butchered the pronunciation of that, but there on July 10th, 2005. Then it went into, wide release in the US on July 15th, 2005. And then it released in the UK on July 29th, 2005. The film had a budget of $150 million and made 400 and... Oh, wait, what does it say? Yeah, Johnny Depp is the GOAT. I did acknowledge that. I just said it really fast. But yeah, we love Johnny Depp in this house. Anyway, the film had a budget of $150 million and made $475.8 million. Wowie zowie bowie bowder zooey mama. Development, you know what, typically I skip over the production history, but I'm going to read it for this one. Development for a second adaptation of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory began in 1991, which resulted in Warner Bros. Providing the Dahl estate with total artistic control. Discord dada, okay. I'm probably gonna, I guess, the Amber message. Yeah, it did not show up. I guess because it was a little too rude for YouTube's liking. Yeah, I guess that was probably why. Anyway. But yeah, Amber Heard can, in fact, go do that. Anyway. Now, in case you don't know why Warner Bros. Gave Roald Dahl gave his estate artistic control, well, I mean, we all know why. The first, I mean, yeah, but anyway. But basically, you know the story. The previous adaptation, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, while a beloved film by many, was absolutely hated by Roald Dahl himself, and he basically disowned it. So I guess the Dahl estate was like, Warner Bros., you better. Anyway. Prior to Tim Burton's involvement, directors such as Gary Ross, Rob Minkoff, Martin Scorsese, oh, that would have been something right there. Martin Scorsese's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And Tom Shattuck. I should probably stop saying that last name before it triggers somebody. Anyway, had been involved, while actors Bill Murray, Nicolas Cage, Jim Carrey, Michael Keaton, Brad Pitt, Will Smith, and Adam Sandler, and many others, were either in discussion with or considered by the studio to play Wonka. Okay, can I just say, Adam Sandler as Willy Wonka sounds terrible. That's just bad casting. Nick Cage Willy Wonka would have gone hard. Oh, absolutely. That would have been just amazing. Although, actually, I love how we had two amazing choices back to back. Nicolas Cage and Jim Carrey. Anyway. But yeah, they were all either in discussion or considered. But ultimately, Johnny Depp got the part. Burton immediately brought regular collaborators Depp and Danny Elfman on board. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory represents the first musical film directed by Tim Burton since The Nightmare Before Christmas, and the first time that Danny Elfman, and the first time since The Nightmare Before Christmas that Danny Elfman contributed to a film score using written songs and his vocals. Filming, of course, took place from June to December 2004 at Pinewood Studios in the United Kingdom. Rather than using computer-generated environments, Burton primarily used built sets and practical effects, which he claimed was inspired by the book's emphasis on texture-based. Burton shot the film simultaneously alongside the stop-motion animated film Corpse Bride, which he also directed. The practical effects are superb. They really are. Again, that's not sarcasm, just the practical effects in this movie are top-notch. So yeah. That's something that I feel the latest, not to totally go off track, but that is something that I feel Wonka with Timothy Chalamet was lacking, I feel, was practical effects. I mean, shit, even a truck at the beginning is partially CGI. A truck. You couldn't just source one of those, you had to partially CGI it? Okay then. Anyway. Willy Wonka-themed chocolate bars were sold, and a golden ticket contest was launched as part of the film's marketing campaign. They made the Oompa Loompa CGI. Well, the Oompa Loompa... Okay. The Oompa Loompas in this film, they were made smaller digitally, but they still weren't CGI, so... Digital meets practical, I guess you could say, with this one. But then the new one just entirely CGI. Talking Wonka, I know, that's what I just said. And the thing is, like, if they did, like, if it was, like, a whole bunch of Oompa Loompas, that would be different. But it was just the one that you could have easily made a practical little person. But given that it's, well, it came out in 2023, but given that it's the year of our Lord 2024, and we apparently think all people with orange skin complexions are good people, I imagine that midgets are too offensive. Oh, you dick, you just figure out that I'm a dick? You just figure out that I'm a dick? Anyway. This show's just two dicks bickering at each other. But anyway. Okay, this is interesting. Early plans to promote the film with a Broadway theater musical were not realized. And we've... I'm not touching that. I'm just gonna move past that. I will make fun of that after the show. Anyway. The film released on July... Actually, I just had a... I would... Mother of God. I wouldn't either. Oh, Jesus. Okay, anyway. Okay, back on... Jesus Christ. Wait, where's the, There it is. Okay, back on topic. The film was released in the U.S. on July 15th, 2005, and was met with positive critical reviews. Positive critical reviews. However, it is worth noting, a lot of criticism would be directed towards the film's darker tone. That's something that I see a lot of people criticize, is it being a little dark. Okay, anyway. I'm not gonna read the entire release history. It's a novel. So I'm gonna skip down here. Okay. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was released on VHS and DVD on November 8th, 2005. Oh. Yeah, literally. It's funny because people were wanting Wonka to be like Joker. And instead they got this box of fruit snacks. Anyway, Timothée Chalamet's hot though. Anyway, I'll take hot Wonka over gritty Wonka. Like Joker gritty. But anyway, it was released on... Timothy really is hot. We're so fruity. Host and audience, we collectively are so fruity. Anyway. The film was released on VHS and DVD on November 8th, 2005. And even though this little factoid is more of interest to me than to you, fruity or honest? Call it, friendo. Anyway. Now this little factoid is more of interest to me, the host, than you, the audience, but Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was actually one of the last Warner Bros. Movies to be released on VHS. It wasn't the last, but it was one of the last. Anyway, and of course there were two DVD editions. There was a single disc DVD edition and a 2-disc special edition DVD. Then the film released on the ill-fated and short-lived HD DVD format in October 2006, before being released on Blu-ray in October 2011, followed by a 10th anniversary Blu-ray in March 2015. Both releases featured the same bonus features as the HD DVD release, although the anniversary edition included a personal retrospective by Tim Burton and a photo book. Oh, hello. I didn't expect you to show up. Hi. Didn't expect you to show up, but hi, Sylv. Hi, Sylvie. Yeah, to recap, we're talking about Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Conquer stream ended early. Nice. Well, hey, Spider, James, whatever. You said you missed him. He back. There you go. Got your garbage in the garbage factory. You bitch. Anyway, not my cup of tea. You bitch. I mean that as a joke. I'm not being serious. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Wait. Okay, what are we waiting on? What am I waiting? Okay. What are we waiting for? I don't mean that to sound rude. Just, what are we waiting for? Only part I like about the Tim Burton one is the relationship between Wonka and his dad. I respect your opinion. Anyway. But yeah, that is basically the release history. And of course, it wouldn't be this show. I'm not going to argue with you. I respect your opinion. I'm still going to act better than you. I'm just not going to swear that I'm right. Should be if you opened up a can of worms saying what you just did. Jesus Christ. Anyway, wouldn't be this show. Ding dong, you're a pit. Yep, there it is. There's the classic. Yep, there's the classic Spider. There's the classic Spider-Sylv argument. That's one of the things I love about doing this show, is you two just going at each other. Although I'm glad this ended civilly. I'ma kick you softly. Hi, babe, shits aggressively. Anyway. Alright. Wouldn't be this show without me having a copy of whatever the fuck it is I'm talking about. I'ma kick you and there it is. Anyway. Shits your toilet. I love my sillies. Oh my god. With extra sugar. What was it that made the Powerpuff Girls again? Okay, anyway, back on topic. It wouldn't be this show without me having a copy of whatever the fuck it is I'm talking about. It is the single disc DVD release. So yeah, widescreen edition. Back when every movie got both a widescreen and a full screen edition. Fun fact, I have never seen a full episode of the Powerpuff Girls. Anyway. Yeah. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Product number. DVD logo. Warner Bros. Be back with all your fucking information. Bonus features include... Okay, bonus... There's the burp. Bonus features include... Becoming Oompa Loompa. How they turned one man into hundreds of Oompa Loompas. The Oompa Loompa dance and theatrical trailer. That might not sound like a lot, but obviously... That might not sound like a lot of content, but obviously if you got, you know, either the 2-disc DVD or either of the Blu-ray releases, you'd be getting a lot more. But they're fine. Can we quit with the jokes? Okay, I'm not saying you can't be funny, but here's warning number 1. I'm not putting you on timeout, I'm just giving you a... There's warning number 2. Best behavior, please. Okay. Chick. That is the spelling ever. Chick-fil-it. Chick-fil-it. That is the spelling that I've ever seen. I taste like Christian. You know what? I may get on to both of you about making dirty jokes on this show, but you know what? We can joke about Chris Chan all we want. That's how the old... Anyway, you know what? I get on to you two about making dirty jokes on this show, but we can make fun of Chris Chan all we want. I feel Chris Chan is fair game on this show. Mainly because Chris Chan never had dignity. I'm aware that sounds really rude. Anyway. We should make a Chris Chan special. I'm assuming that's a Chris Chan quote. Anyway. And... I mean, it only took, okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. I know Chris Chan, but, okay. I know Chris Chan, but I wasn't sure if that was a Chris Chan quote or not. In fact, the way that went down... Yeah, no, I'm not going to say what I thought that quote was, because I'm just going to be called an idiot. Sonichu. Oh my God. Anyway. Okay, but Charles Pale. JD and the Turk Factory. I snuck into a bathroom and message deleted. Yeah, it's getting to the point now where I regret making all of the jokes about the Bass Pro Shop bathroom. Because I thought I would do some wonderful things in the Bass Pro Shop bathroom. We need to hire Chris Chan to write the next Sonic film. Oh, Jesus. That is the equivalent. That is the equivalent of saying, we need the Spanish Inquisition. Okay, anyway. Back on topic before this show really just dissolves into absolute madness. Okay. Back on topic. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Just clarifying. Thank you for clarifying. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. Respect your opinion. Stinky poo poo boner supreme. Anyway. Charlie and the I am shocked that did not wake up my sister's dog. Okay, anyway. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. What do I think of it? Well, okay. I'm trying to articulate my thoughts. Okay. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna rank all 3 Chocolate Factory movies based on level of enjoyment. You're just glad you know a Charlie that is your age, because otherwise that would look really bad. Like really bad. You and I are both glad you know I like Charlie Sheen. Me too. But seriously, we should be glad that you know a Charlie that is your age, because otherwise I like Charlie no homo would look really bad. He likes Asian girls. He wouldn't like me. Yo, Drake, I heard you like him young. Anyway. I'm an Asian girl. Well, we talked about turning red on a previous episode, so... Anyway. Wonder After Dark, the only show where 3 autistic college kids smoke pot. Okay, anyway. Back on topic before we actually lose track. I'm listening, I'm Drake. Dwake. Donnie Darko. Anyway. Charlie, alright. I'm just going to go ahead and rank all 3 based on level of enjoyment. You know what? Actually, it's over here. I forgot that I have it. Okay. If we're talking which one I enjoy the most, 1970, we're talking my opinion. We're talking my opinion. While we respect your opinion, I'm talking my opinion. In terms of which one I enjoy the most, in terms of which one I just find the most fun, I can't believe I'm saying it, Wonka, the newest one. So this is the most fun one, up at the top here. But in terms of which one I think is the best adaptation, Tim Burton's would be below it. I haven't seen Wonka. It's really good. But yeah, so up here I think is the most fun. Down here is the best adaptation. And then below both of them would be... I have the VHS of it, but it's buried. But below both of them would be the 1971 film. It's not a bad movie, but... Yeah. Yeah, I love the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka, but it's not a great adaptation. Mind you, I've never read the book, but I can just spot a kind of adaptation from a distance. Yeah, or wait. Never. It's a good It's a good adaptation. Again, respect your opinion. This is shockingly the most civil this show has ever been, Mother of God. I'm a little impressed and a little bit frightened. Read. Yeah, okay, if I knew where to source a copy. Yes, indeed. Boobies. Repost if you nips. Anyway. What the hell is... Okay, actually, where in God's name did the joke that I'm fat come from? Like... See, oh yeah, cameo. Okay, seriously, where did that joke come from? Because looking at me, am I fat? No. So what... Seriously, I'm not mad, I just don't get it. Like, why the hell, every other episode, am I just called fat? Jesus. Anyway, but Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's a movie that I enjoy. I think out of the three, it's the most faithful adaptation of Roald Dahl's book. Although, out of the three, I find Wonka to be the most fun to watch. But then again, it could be because it's such an autistic musical that it hurts. Autismo. Your fat is hiding under the invisibility cloth. Oh my god. Am I... You have autists. You have autists. One of these days, I should just do an entire stream where I just sit back and let YouTube. Okay, seriously. One of these days, I should just do an episode where I just sit back and let you two do the talking for me. That may or may not dissolve into a roast of me. Anyway. Back on titties. Titties, boobs, titties and boobies. Big boobies on my chest, big boobies. Okay, but, back on topic. I like the titties show. Yeah, clearly. Anyway. The Asian special was rad. Oh yeah, the Asian special, aka the one where you broke me. Okay, anyway, back on topic. But yeah, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Probably the most faithful adaptation. Although, honestly, I like all three equally. Alright, everyone. You should wear a pillow under your chin. Why the hell is it that nobody can get what this is correct? I swear. Alright, hang on. I love how Hulu just does not function correctly as of late. There we go. Alright. I mean, technically it is correct to call it a robe, but this is a house coat. Oh yeah, I know what you're referring to. I know what you did last summer. Okay, apologies for going there, but this joke just came to me, and now I want to say it. Okay, apologies for going there, but the joke I said I know what you did last summer, and the joke just came to me, so now I need to put the joke to fruition. I really hope I end up in the same location as He Who Shall Not Be Named one of these days, because I want to buy a copy of I Know What You Did Last Summer and just casually just walk by and pass it to him. No context, no explanation, just, here's I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's all about sending a message. Yep, there's the image. I'm not showing that, however. I am not showing that. No. Fuck it. Here it is, zoomed in. I'm not talking to you, Sylv. This is the only part of the image that won't get me into legal trouble. This is all you're getting. The rest would get me in legal trouble. Ayo, that's kind of scary. Good. Okay, anyway. Back on topic. What even? Okay, can we please get back on topic? Okay, anyway, passing this over to both of you, audience. Okay. Passing this over to both of you. I just spent 37 minutes discussing a book adaptation that is pretty good. So who wants to hear about a really bad idea that I've had? No, it's not the kind of bad idea that will get me put on a list, but it is a bad idea. Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. I did not expect that kind of excitement. Jesus Christ. Oh, my... Oh my God. Oh, you're really... I had a stroke. I'm removing that. Okay, anyway. Okay. I have Tourette's. Okay. 1 second. Alright. I had Ebola. Okay. I'm going to devote... Let me check my battery real quick. Okay, I got plenty of time. I was just checking my battery life. Anyway. I got plenty of time to discuss this. So, as we know, I want to make movies someday. I don't think it'll ever happen, but someday. And, not only do I want to do, original movies, not connected to an existing anything, but I do want to dip my toes into licensed films and adaptations. And, well, this is the first time ever that I'm mentioning the film on camera. But a property that I've wanted to touch is none other than Tom Tom the Tankin' Dankin'. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself right now, oh, this is either going to end really well or really bad. Yep, I'm going there. That's the one. That's the one I'm talking about. This is the first time I'm mentioning this film on camera. Shut the fuck up. How is this gonna end? Well, buckle up, because it ain't gonna end well. Okay, I guess a little bit of background. A little bit of background. I first had the idea for this film. Read before you say. Okay. I just read. Sorry if I sounded like a dickhead. Anyway. No, like, genuinely, sorry if I sounded like a dickhead. Anyway, back on topic. It's funny because he who shall not be named was also a man baby. Except he was the furthest degree of man baby. Anyway, back on topic. Now, I had had the idea. Okay, yeah, we will. Okay. I said we'll stop for now, but there is one specific part. I'm trying to remain neutral. Fair enough, though there is one specific part of this little pitch I'm about to, audience. Okay, directing this to Spider, I'm about to. Directing this to Sylve, fair enough, talking about trying to remain neutral, but there is one specific part of this pitch that does require me to mention him. So, after that, I'm done for this episode, but just so you know. Anyway, just thought you should have that little disclaimer. But anyway, I had the idea for this film for a while. Like, no real time specifically, just in general. Like, I've had the thought, like, I kind of want to make a Thomas and Friends movie someday. I want to make a Thomas the Tank Engine movie someday. But, of course, it's like, well, Mattel would not want, this or that to interfere with All Engines Go. And, of course, I don't want to make gritty All Engines Go. Stuff like that. But then, around late 2023, early 2024, was when I really started thising away at the Notes app. And that's when I came up with a little film called NW Railway. Now, why the hell is it called that? Why completely forego the Thomas name, logo, and character from the title? Well, easy to explain. The Thomas character would be the main character of the story. Could you please let me explain? Anyway, the reason why I went with that title was because the Thomas character would be the main character of the film, but not the main character of the overall universe. So let's say if there were potential spin-offs, like a spin-off about the fucking Smudger, just for example, or a movie, or like a short about Boulder. Well, why would Thomas be the main character? Why would you put the Thomas name on something that's not about him? And the second reason I went with that title, give me a James film. Anyway, and the second reason I went with that title relates to the setting. Something that I feel not all, but a good chunk of the Thomas and Friends movies suffer from is too little of a focus on the railway. Even the ones where the engines are the main focus, it feels like they focus way too much on everything but. And what's the name of the railway? Kind of a deep cut, but the Northwestern Railway. NW Railway. And again, NW Railway would kind of become the title of this franchise. So, think of how it was Knives Out and then Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. So it would be kind of both the title and subtitle. Anyway, now, I told a certain somebody about this film. I know you don't want me to go there, but it is required for this part of the story. Anyway, and this somebody really liked the idea. So I kept telling them about it every night. And they loved it, and loved it, and loved it, and loved it. And they pitched me more ideas, and more ideas, and more stuff that I just threw in. And then it became kind of my vent film. If I wasn't feeling good, or if I noticed something was bothering someone, there I was, on the Notes app. I mean, I didn't literally put, like, And then 9/11 happened, but I would kind of like channel whatever was bothering me or others into, because it got me thinking, it got me creative. It weirdly enough, do you have a Sir Topham Hatt film planned? It's something I've considered. Anyway, but it would give me like little bursts of creative energy. So there I was, channeling the energy I want, and then 9/11 happened on a shirt, same. But there I was, just channeling this creative energy into the film. Now, I never got to the script phase, but I got pretty far. I got as far as the following: world, tone, characters, and story. I am going to open the note in the Notes app containing that information, and I'm just going to go through it. Oh yeah, it's not often you get a peek. Well, you do get a peek into my madness, but it's not often we go this deep into my madness. Alright. I'm going to start with general details, followed by characters, and then I'm going to describe the plot. Although there's a certain character that I'm... Oh. Okay. You did interrupt, but no worries. Go ahead and confess. Just go ahead, and then I'll continue on. Just waiting for you to finish. Not trying to sound rude, but whenever I leave early, I don't watch the replays. I'm not really mad at that, honestly. I mean, I'm just gonna say, whenever I upload my videos, I do check for mistakes before I put them up, but then once I put them up, I don't watch them myself. It's basically like a object of a usage that starts with the letter G. I pull the pin out and then I throw it. And I don't look back. I watch them. You're a real one. Anyway, let's get back on topic. Anyway, so, general details that I had ended up with. Although the film would feature characters from and references to events from previous continuity, it would take place in its own separate universe and be separate from any previous iteration. So it would have no lasting effect on, I mean, whatever you want to do, I guess. Anyway, so basically, you know, as I just read, it would take place in its own separate universe, and although it would have references to past continuity, it would have no lasting effect on whatever the current show would be. In this case, All Engines Go. Anyway, it would also combine the best of each era of the series, being set in a world that, while more grounded and realistic than, say, All Engines Go or Big World, Big Adventures, does still have elements of absurdity. So basically, you know, people would still have jobs. These living steam engines and diesel engines would still take people and passengers and goods around the island. But, you know, there would still be little bits of silliness, absurdity, surrealism throughout. Now get ready, because that's kind of where it starts to fall apart. How? You'll find out. Alright, so what about the characters? Again, there's a certain character that I'm going to save until I read the plot. But I'm going to go through the rest of the characters. Thomas Percy, James Gordon, Edward, Nia, Rebecca, Kana, Bruno, Sir Topham Hatt. I need to go. You seem like something's bothering you, but, see ya, I guess. Sorry you couldn't stay the whole time. In fact, it was just getting good, but I'm not going to beg you to... I'm not going to beg you to stay, but, see ya, Sylv. I might have to send you the replay for this part, but bye. Have a day. Anyway, I'm going to keep reading this to you, Mr. Fantastic. Anyway, but, anyway, Thomas Percy, James Gordon, Edward, Nia, Rebecca, Kana, Bruno, Sir Topham Hatt, and various electric and hybrid engines. Now, what's the gist? Alright, anyway, now what's the gist of the characters? Thomas, in his younger days, was a cheeky, fussy little engine, and would often get into scrapes best left... Or no, I was kind of skipping ahead a little bit. Let me try that again. I skipped a sentence. Thomas, in his younger days, was a cheeky, fussy little engine, and would often get into scrapes due to his over-eagerness to do jobs best left to bigger and stronger engines. Today, he's much more cautious of the world around him, but tries to keep a positive outlook on life, even if things aren't going so well at the moment, and even if times have changed. Percy is the junior, well, second junior now, that's actually what I wrote here, member of Sir Topham Hatt's fleet of engines. Just don't ask him to show up to work on time or show you something worth your time. When he's not sleeping in, he's taking you on marvelous misadventures and being overly curious. Oh god, this is the part that's certainly aged. James, commonly referred to as Jamesy by his acquaintances, is kind, but not particularly fond of his place on the railway. Often ignored and seen as an outcast, he just wants to entertain his friends and make the world a better place, in his own ridiculous but lovable way. Gordon is the pride of the line, and has been the express engine for as long as anyone can remember. Yep, that's the part that aged. Big time. You can guess exactly who made me write that in. That's the part that's aged. Anyway, we've already moved on to the next character, so... Gordon is the pride of the line, and has been the express engine for as long as anyone can remember. He was once the fastest engine not only on the Northwestern Railway, but on the entire island of Sodor. And although he's starting to show his age, and he may not be as fast or as strong as years past, he still gets passengers to their destination in record time and is proud to be of service. Edward is an old soul with a gentle heart. One of Sir Topham Hatt's first and oldest, Edward is always willing to lend a helping hand, even at his old age, and serves as a mentor figure to the younger members of the team. Nia is one of the newest engines on Sodor, and is the most unique. After fleeing from Africa due to a disastrous and tragic event, she has come to live on the island of Sodor. She's still learning the ins and outs of culture of Sodor, but is ready to go about her day, and is always ready to learn something new. And much like Thomas did back when he was a young boy, Nia often gets into predicaments and scrapes due to being overeager and excited. She is also considered the junior member of the steam team, a position originally occupied by Percy. Rebecca arrived on the island of Sodor quite a few years ago. She was brought into the railway by Sir Topham Hatt as a backup express engine while Gordon was out of service. Despite the fact she was only supposed to be a temporary engine, she later proved her worth and became a worthy addition to the team. The incident. It's way more serious than that, but I might consider. Anyway, Kana is the newest engine to arrive on the Northwestern Railway, and is a part of a new wave of next generation electric engines. Patterned, powered, not pattered, powered by an electric battery instead of steam or diesel fuel, she is fast, sleek, and modern. Although the other electrics practically bully the steam engines, Kana still sees value and worth in their lives and services, and is always upheld. Okay, yep, that's the first time I've noticed that typo. I can't talk. What about solar-powered engines? Glad you asked. They would be mentioned. It's kind of okay. Yeah, no, I'll save the comparison I was going to make for the end of the characters. But there are solar-powered ones, they're just only mentioned and seen briefly. Anyway, always up to help and be there for them. What about nuclear? Okay, anyway. Bruno is an American caboose and is on the spectrum. He was often bullied by engines and rolling stock on his own railway and was sold for scrap. However, he was saved from scrap by Thomas. Today, he and Thomas remain really good and practically inseparable friends. It has been many years since Sir Topham Hatt. Oh yeah, we got the Sir Topham Hatt now. It has been many years since Sir Topham Hatt came to Sodor as a railway engineer. He quickly rose in the company, becoming a controller at an early age and eventually chairman. His imposing appearance, no less than his firm but kindly handling of both engines and staff, earned him the affectionate nickname of the Fat Controller. And then, after nationalization, and would you believe Bruno is not a character I came up with, but instead an official canon character? Anyway, and then after nationalization, when he was awarded a knighthood for his services to the railway industry, he became Sir Topham Hatt. Now there's one more character in quotes, but I'm going to read the plot synopsis. Here's why. And remember when I said after absurdity that it kind of starts to fall apart? Buckle up. Plot synopsis. The island of Sodor is a magical place where the air is clean, there isn't a cloud in the sky, and the trains are friendly. But when a new generation of electric engines arrive on the railway, Thomas and his friends must prove that steam and diesel still have their worth and can coexist alongside the futuristic newcomers. Now, you might have heard what I just said and are probably thinking to yourself right now, Jess, that don't sound too bad. Like, that actually sounds pretty good. Sure, it's just a blatant rip-off of Cars 3, but it doesn't sound half bad. In addition, Thomas and his friends must overcome their fears and traumas in a showdown against the darkness. You are not listening. Also, yeah, I'm gonna assume you heard the last sentence there. I am. I wasn't getting mad, but, yeah, the darkness. Let me get to him. Or it. Or, yeah, it is more accurate. I just forgot what was after. Okay, I'm gonna read the plot synopsis again. You're gonna be able to pinpoint exactly... I was stuck in my FNAF joke. Okay, you're gonna pinpoint exactly... Okay, I forgot. It's the funny... Sorry about that. Funny image. July... I'll get back to reading, but we gotta do the funny image real quick. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. All right. Brief intermission, the funny image. When you get a new book. When you get a new book. Anyway, back on topic. Back on topic. I'm going to read the plot synopsis again. Okay, I'm going to read the plot synopsis again. You're going to be able to pinpoint exactly where it falls apart. But when a new generation of electric engines arrive on the railway, Thomas and his friends must prove that steam and diesel still have their worth and can coexist alongside the futuristic newcomers. Okay, now you probably heard that part and are probably thinking, okay, Jess, that don't sound too bad. Sure, it's just a blatant ripoff of Cars 3, but it doesn't sound that bad. I'm not much of a current Thomas. I was getting to that. You're probably, in fact, you clearly are thinking of that. You're just thinking, well, that don't sound too bad. It just sounds like a ripoff of Cars 3, but it doesn't sound terrible. Might be pretty good. Here's where it falls apart. In addition, Thomas and his friends must overcome their fears and traumas in a showdown against the darkness. Oh yeah, there is where it starts to fall apart. I guess I need to explain the darkness. Oh yeah, I need to explain the darkness. This one requires a little bit of context. Funny story, I haven't seen It Chapter 2. But let me explain how the darkness came to be. So, or Milo Pony, that too. Anyway, oh, or Loki. Funny you mentioned Loki, I was getting to that. Here's how the darkness came to, or Rise of the, sounds like everything. Here's how the darkness came to be. So, basically, when I got to electric engines, I realized kind of a fatal flaw. There wasn't really a clear villain. Or not really villain, but there wasn't really like a clear... There wasn't really like a clear threat. Like, yeah, you know, you're being replaced, but there's not really like... Because it's obvious by the end of the movie they're gonna get along in the end. And then the trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine came out, and I was met with this shot of, I don't know this thing's name, but this thing emerging upon dead Ant-Man. This big scary cloud. I don't know what it is, but this big scary cloud that I don't know the name of. Alioth, I think. Okay, Alioth. I don't know what it is about Alioth, but Alioth gave me a lot of creative motivation and a lot of creative inspiration. So, this also sounds like Green Lantern. Sounds like everything. So, I then worked in an Alioth-esque character, that being the Darkness. Okay, well, why is it called the Darkness? Well, in our universe, the name has a fucking hilarious inspiration. Take a wild shot in the dark as to how you think I came up with the name, the Darkness. Okay, thank you for clarifying. Anyway, how do you think I came up with the name, the Darkness? What is that? It's the unknown. Yep, I looked at the unknown. Glasgow, the Wonka experience, you pulled it out your ass. Nope, I used the unknown from the Glasgow Wonka experience. The unknown, the darkness. I don't fucking know, it sounded cool. So, the Darkness, there's the name, but why is it called that? Well, for that, we need to look at my other bit of creative inspiration. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Okay, how did this one enter the picture? You know Death Wolf, right? Okay, well, he's not officially called Death Wolf, just Death, but Death. Yeah, Willem Dafoe. Anyway, how did this film serve as inspiration? Well, the darkness is to this story what death is to Puss in Boots. Inevitable. Something you can't run away from. You can't avoid, you can't cheat. Something you just have to embrace and accept. It's coming for you someday. The darkness would first appear in the film throughout everyone's collective nightmares and collective concerns. Specifically in the younger characters. The older characters, of course, have more control of their emotions, so they wouldn't see the darkness nearly as often, but of course, still have a presence in their lives. But then later in the film, as you know, the threat of being replaced really starts to emerge, the darkness would really start to show its ugly face. And before long, the darkness would start to literally engulf Sodor, the whole island. And it's, of course, at the end of the film that we would see that big epic showdown. Yes, a bunch of trains locked to the tracks versus a big scary cloud. You can make fun of me for that if you want. But yeah, at the end of the film, the electrics would get along with the steamies and the diesels, and all the generations of technology I've thought weirder. Yeah. And all the generations would get together and get along. Friends. Would you believe I have not described the craziest part of this movie? The craziest part is a post-credits scene. Let me put Pussy Boots away. Okay, yeah, back on topic. Would you believe I have yet to describe the craziest part? The post-credits scene. Yeah. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh god, is it going to be a sequel tease? Is it going to be a quick gag? Is it going to be something very on brand with Thomas, or is it going to be something really off? Well, remember how I said the darkness devours worlds? Well, in a post-credits scene, we would see another world that the darkness has already laid waste to. This world in question would be legally distinct and copyright-free, but would still be painfully obvious where it is. Yep, the world in question is the My Little Pony universe. But again, legally distinct, so Hasbro wouldn't have a stroke. Anyway, we see the darkness come towards the camera. It's already destroyed everything. Buildings are gone. There's not a tree in sight. The sky is gray. Everything is basically dead. But then we hear two laughing numbnuts come barreling out. Who comes emerging from the darkness? Bill and Ben. Bill and Ben come rising out from the cloud while it chases them into the sunset. It's never elaborated upon how Bill and Ben got into this situation. It's never elaborated how they will get out of this situation. It's never even elaborated how they ended up in another universe. It's just left for you to wonder about because this is the post-credit scene and the movie is over. And that is NW Railway. Probably the reason why I should not be allowed to adapt an existing source material. You can definitely tell there's some potential here, but you can also make fun of me if you want. I'm giving you full clearance too. But I'm also giving you full clearance to give constructive criticism. As somebody like you who hasn't watched the show in at least a decade. Oh wait, what does this say? A Universal Monster Creepypasta reject, a My Little Pony Dragon, a Sonic Knight, a Superman Sonic-inspired spandex dude, a pink Doctor Strange Power Ranger versus Man-Hedgehogs and Mob Skeleton Crew. Yeah, see, that sounds more insane. I don't have a lot of criticism, honestly. Okay, so that means you're either at a loss or you actually think what I described has some potential. Because if so, I'm a little surprised. Grateful, but surprised. Sounds about as weird as what I would make. Yeah. In fact, I think what you would make would actually be a little bit... I do think there's tweaking to be done. What is a specific aspect that you would tweak? Whether it's major or minor, just a very specific aspect that you would perhaps tweak. Just curious, audience. I would have to think about it, but I think it's the licensed part of the whole thing. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, really, I think the story I have in mind could work as an original IP, like not connected to an existing franchise. It could work, but at the same time, I'm not really sure, because like, I'm trying to think of how to word this. Okay. It makes sense when I describe it, but I'm still trying to think of how to describe it. Like, okay. I do get that, okay, this is the best way I can describe it. I get that a lot of original films are a gamble. You know, you don't know if it's going to be a hit. And most of the time, you get really lucky and it ends up being a hit. But sometimes you're not so lucky and it kind of fades into obscurity. In my case, it's a huge gamble whether or not it could work as an original film, meaning not connected to the Thomas and Friends franchise, just following a bunch of original Train characters. It could work. It could. Okay, I'm going to read this. Because what I do is I take inspiration from my favorite properties and mix them in a blender. With the actual characters, it's too autistically dumb in a fun way, but if actually taken seriously, it's a gamble. Okay, you just said it better than I could. I do think it could work as an original film, like not connected to the Thomas and Friends franchise, just following a bunch of original Train characters. It could work. But then the problem number one, of course, is you would have people saying, this is a Thomas and Friends ripoff, this is a Thomas the Tank Engine ripoff, this is a Thomas the Choo Choo Train ripoff. Even if it was so radically different visually, aesthetically, you would still have people saying that. So that's kind of problem number one for me, if I go original with it. Problem number two is, the gamble. These are not characters that people are familiar with, so you don't know if it's going to click with your intended audience. But I guess trains are very specific, while superheroes are more vague. Exactly. But anyway, I did acknowledge that, but exactly. But anyway, if you go original with this film, it could be a success, but it also potentially might not click with its intended audience. Even if it does well critically or financially, it still might not, click. Might not be the huge franchise or even just huge standalone that you might want or might envision. But then you go the licensed route. Sure, now you have brand recognition on your side, and you have characters that you know will sell, but now you run the risk of potentially alienating, upsetting, or angering longtime fans. And, the other risk, of course, is, connected to an existing brand. Even if you treat it as a separate entity from the rest of the franchise, it could still have a lasting effect on the surrounding elements. And sure, My Little Pony inspired SpongeBob and Godzilla-like characters might be oddly specific, but it just takes time to change everything in a way where people will think, okay, it's super familiar, but I can tell that it's just inspired, not ripping off. Again, you said it really well, audience. But yeah, you raise a very good point. But yeah, in my case, if you go licensed, and if Mattel and Hit Entertainment were to pick it up, yes, now you have brand recognition and recognizable characters on your side, but even if you treat it as like a separate entity, so like, here's Thomas and Friends All Engines Go, here's Northwestern Railway, it could still have a lasting effect on the surrounding residents, I guess. Meaning, stuff from the film might carry over to the show. Stuff from the show might carry over to a sequel. Stuff like that. And, the other risk, what if it bombs? Well, then you basically just sunk a multi-billion-dollar ship right there. Or, what if it just flops? Well, then they ain't gonna work with you anymore. And even if they do a sequel, they ain't bringing you back to do it. They're gonna bring somebody else in to bring it more in line with what they want. So yeah, again, this is a film that, I've been really passionate about, and it's kept me very busy. Even though I never got to writing a full script for it, it's just kept me, active creatively. But I don't know. Okay, back over here. Like with Cairo, I had to examine Godzilla. Godzilla is typically black or green, so Cairo is blue. Godzilla has blue atomic breath, so Cairo has white eye beams. Godzilla stands upright. I'm waiting for the second part of that. So Cairo is hunched over. Godzilla is fat, so Cairo is scrawny. You get it. And indeed, I get it. And, I have thought about that. I have thought about that kind of philosophy. Because, I've looked at the Thomas the Tank Engine character. I've looked at the character from the show. I've looked at the toys. And I've thought, how can I, take inspiration, but still kind of but bend this to be its own entity. Still inspired by an iconic character, but not ripping it off. Not trying to take away any fame or any profit. I have yet to figure that out. Even though you think that would be easy, I've yet to really figure it out. But I guess I'll provide some... Alright, it's 12:21 a.m. I'm going to wrap up the show by just adding a couple extra details. Another thing that I added to the film, courtesy of He Who Shall Not Be Named, requires a little bit of context. Well, trains are big. Trains are big and bulky. Why not go slim? Noted. Now, I'm not being sarcastic, just noted. In fact, the Ertl diecast, the diecast Thomas produced by the Ertl Company, yeah, he's a long boy in length, but he's very slim in width. So you're kind of onto something there. Anyway, back to where I was going with this. Thomas and the Magic Railroad kind of make electric engines. Well, I mean, diesels exist too. The thing is with that, I'm not disagreeing with what you just said. The thing is with that, the whole, well, half of the plot line, you know, the other half being the darkness, of course, half of the plot line are fantasy engines. Okay, now you're on to something. I was going to say, the thing is, like, if I make them all electric, like all of them, then that kind of takes away the generational aspect. Already, that's interesting to me. I will remember that. But anyway, back to what I was going to say. Another thing with Northwestern Railway goes back to the very first attempt at a theatrical film, Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Sodor was still a very grounded place in this movie, despite its antics. But there were little things that were absurd. Examples, the tumbleweed. In case you don't remember, there's a tumbleweed that walks around with a southern accent and is weirdly polite. I'll have to send a clip of that later. Flower phones. Various places around Sodor, there's just flowers you can talk into like phones. The rabbit. You never see him on screen, but Mr. Conductor receives a letter from a rabbit. Yeah, I would very much, although my film would take place in one world, I would lean into some more of the aspects like that. So Sodor would still be a grounded place for the most part, but there would be more fantasy-ish elements within. And you can probably still do a generational thing. Look at Star Wars. They have proto-sabers with battery packs and wires, so you can have that kind of proto-engine, but keeping it fantastical. Noted. Noted, noted, noted. Noted, 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 noted. Okay. And this one's, okay, and then this next detail, or these next, I'm gonna provide these next two details, and then I'm gonna wrap up this episode. This next detail relates to how I would envision this as a franchise. Again, using the NW Railway title, yes, Thomas would be the main character of the initial film, but not the main character of the overall universe. So perhaps a sequel would focus on Percy as the lead character and not Thomas. Perhaps Nia would get her own spin-off series, like a mini-series. Perhaps Sir Topham Hatt would get a spin-off, but they would still carry the NW Railway title, because it's not Thomas's story. He may be the main primary character, but he's not who the world revolves around. There's a great big world out there. So there's that. I would love to share my ideas, but I kind of don't want to take it from you. I get where you're coming from, although if you have any ideas, I would love to hear them. I mean, again, I would like for it to still be my idea, but I would love to hear some of your ideas as well. But anyway, this next detail that I had in mind is not really related to like the plot or the characters, the presentation. You've probably been listening this entire time and have been thinking to yourself, okay, so would this be like a live-action CGI hybrid? Would it be just CGI? Would it be 2D? Would it be like Tim Burton stop motion? Claymation, like Aardman? What are you envisioning? It would be Okay. Models. Yes, but with extra steps. It will be models with extra steps. And I'm aware what I'm about to describe is going to sound uber expensive. Basically, the engines themselves would be models. The environments, however, for the most part, would be animated. Specifically, the backgrounds, like the set design would be practical, but the backgrounds specifically would be painted. Well, animated, but painted. The human characters would be live action and be green screened in. So it would be kind of a mixed animation style. You'd have model vehicles, animated scenery, live action humans. I know that kind of sounds ass expensive, but I just think that would look neat. It would be a neat little blend. Oh, yeah, and there's a certain character that is owned by Paramount Pictures and Nickelodeon that he who shall not be named wanted me to give a cameo in the film, provided if Paramount picked it up. But I kind of don't feel comfortable including that character, at least in a positive light, so I'll leave it at that. But yeah, now you know the full scoop of Northwestern Railway. Well, that gives me an idea. You know it's serious when I'm standing on the doohickey. Actually, a big one. I'm standing on the doohickey. I'm standing on the doohickey. Okay, I'm gonna get off the doohickey before I fall. Okay, you can tell me the idea after the show. Okay. Alright. Okay. Anyway, it is 12:28 a.m. We are at 88 minutes. I think I've talked up children's books turned cinematic motion pictures long enough. This wasn't necessarily one of the funnier episodes, but I guess it was one of the more interesting, one of the more insightful episodes. I say while looking like a drug dealer who smoked too much alcohol. But yeah. I guess I hope you enjoyed me rambling about a movie I would like to make someday, but not sure if I ever will. Tune in next time when you find me in a ditch. Anyway, do we have any last words? Because if not, we're just gonna end the episode here. Again, any final words? Not really? Okay. Any topic suggestions for the next episode? Because if not, we're gonna skip right to the end. I would imagine not really as well, but, you know. Minecraft. That's a great suggestion. Well, I guess come back tomorrow night when we talk about Minecraft. Alright, we're at 90 minutes. That's a good place to end. So, that's all the time we have for tonight, but remember, eat your cereal, go to bed, to be continued. God made you special, and He loves you very much. Good night, and have a day.